Hey everybody, this is Larry. This is me going with Q3 of the weekly contest 442. Find the minimum amount of time to brew potions. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join me in Discord. Let me know what you think about this one. I honestly took a long time on this one, about 25 minutes. I made if you watch the live portion of it, you'll see that I just made a lot of mistakes with silly things. I think I could probably improve on it, but I'll save it as an upsell after the explanation. I think the first thing that came to mind, honestly, is going to be binary search. However, they've made the constraints such that, strictly speaking, you're not supposed to binary search, but also that Leetcode is just silly because it takes 14 seconds, which is just really hard to prove that to myself that, before submitting, that'll be fast enough, right? It just depends on what constraint, it depends on what Leetcode wants things to be, and it is just really silly. Right, like how am I supposed to know 5,000 squares fast enough? It's 25 million. No, you don't know. So it's just a guess. It's just a YOLO, and this is why I am doing these virtually these days, because Leetcode just don't really care about Python, or even just maybe Python as well, but also just normal problem setting things, and Leetcode just say. But when I was debating whether so I knew that binary search was too slow because n times m is already going to be 25 million. So if you add another layer of binary search, even if it's 5,000, or I don't know what the biggest number would be, but maybe even times it by 20, right? Or times it by 10 is going to be 250 million. Is already going to be too slow. There are a lot of things that are too slow about this. So yeah, so I dropped it, and I knew that it was just a linear look, but I was just having a lot of issue with implementation. We'll go with my here, but honestly, I think my code is just really messy. I just want to show you what the code is because, well, it's all transparency. This is what I submitted more or less. I don't think I cleaned it up. I mean, maybe we'll clean it up, but yeah. Try. But the key part about understanding this problem is just that the way that I thought about it anyway, and the implementation is kind of dirty. Maybe I could clean it up, but the idea is that, okay, well, all these are kind of in a way a graph, right? Because for example, if you just think of it as the first, oops, I clicked outside. You have an XY thing, right? You start at the 0. Let me change the color real quick. You start at the 0. It takes some time, and then it takes some other time, and then but it always goes up and to the right? So that given these places, that's kind of the graph. And pretend there's straight lines, and I could actually draw straight lines. But then now you have the second graph, right? And this is just, of course, what's it called? Time or skill times mana accumulated from the previous time, right? And so skill matters because the higher the skill, the more time it takes. So that's kind of the differentiating thing. But it's still, the shape looks roughly the same, right? It's just that it's just that given higher skill, the slope is different, right? Because for example, if this is a skill of 1, then slope of 2 is going to be like double the slope, if you will. I mean, I'm not drawing it well. Just pretend it's kind of the same shape, but a little bit more whatever, right? And then the idea here is that given two adjacent ones, and you could generalize it for the rest of them with laws of generality, is putting it in the minimizing part is that you're trying to put this in a way, the blue line, such that maybe not only one, but that you drop this. Why is this not? You drop this down here such that you cannot go lower without parts of the blue line under the red line, right? And the binary search is very easy to check, but again, binary search is too slow. But yeah, the idea here though, right, is that maybe this is not a great graph, right? But is that sometimes if you kind of do it in the wrong way, and this is a positive slope, right? But let's say you have a future one that has a smaller slope, so maybe same but flatter, right? So that is more interesting maybe. So something like that. Then here, it may be that the blocking, so here you're just trying to find the gaps, right? So this is the gap, this is the gap, this is the gap, this is the gap, right? And then now with those gap, you know that the smallest gap, and when you find the smallest gap, you're able to kind of just line everything up as a result. And I think and I kind of honestly doing this because the smallest gap means that anything is yeah but there are a couple of ways you can think about this, right? So here maybe the different way is, right? Okay, so here we okay, let me actually restart real quick. Is that okay? So I kind of drew it in that way to kind of give a visualization, but I think that's not quite a perfect visualization, right? Because basically if you have something like this where this is the first line, okay, maybe just keep it simple for now, and then you have a second line that's a little bit flatter, determined by scale, right? And we draw it from the origin this time. Oops. Right, and the blue line is the second line, right? And then now here you can determine from these gaps, you can determine, well, the smallest, oh sorry, the largest gap is the gap where because the largest gap is the gap where another way to think about this is actually you want all the points of the blue lines to be over the points of the red line. So then the largest gap is the gap that you need to change all the numbers by, because only then yeah, because only then will you be will all the blue numbers be over the red numbers, right? And if you have the biggest gap, that means that one of the number will be exactly on the line, and that would satisfy. I kind of wish I had this visualization when I was solving this problem. I kind of did, but I was trying to like work backwards in a weird way, and that's how I got this code. But now with this understanding, and maybe we could go over it, but you can kind of reason it a little bit, but it's still not great. But now maybe we can we can rewrite from that scratch, right? So here or from scratch, from that idea and visualization, this is just to set up the initial line, right? And then now maybe we can do something like for I or for, let's say, j in range of m, starting from the first one. We already did the second one, but the first index or index 1, right? And then maybe like a max gap, right, would be you go to say 0, and here we again set the new availability as you go to whatever times s, and then and then we just kind of do it this way where I guess one I'm just looking at this and I feel like the way I don't like the way that this is a special case. So actually let me just write it as an off by 1 thing, right? So then now so then now I can do this, but as a result I can just write this, but it's I plus 1. So then we just gotta shift everything off by 1, and that would be pretty Gucci. And then the same way, right, oops, right, and then now we just have to get the max gap, and max gap is you go to the this, and then I plus 1. Which way should it be actually? Let's see, right? I think it should be this way. Yeah, I think that it should be this way, right? kind of. It's not quite right because, oh no, it should be fine. Well, okay. It's not quite right, but in the sense that, so you have the second line, but the gap has to be, I'm missing something actually on my explanation, so I feel like I messed up here. Because this is quite okay, right? But it also takes time. So so the gap has to be still from the previous finish. It also has to be a certain time, right? Because, for example, if even if you just look at the first point, if you look at the first point here, well, maybe not the first point, but the second point, or sorry, I think I kind of messed up this explanation a little bit, but let's salvage it. But basically, for example, if you have even if you have two lines that are on top of each other, right? Meaning maybe you have something like, you know, this, right? And then you have another line that is literally on top of each other, but I'm gonna draw them next to each other so you could see them together, kind of thing, right? Let's say you have something like that, right? But that even though the gap here is 0, you still need the gap to be like you still need the time. Like, for example, the maybe not at 0, but at this point, it still takes time for the first person to, like, the first person can only start at this point, so you still have to shift it up by a little bit. So okay, so with that in mind, I think it's still the same idea. I kind of messed up on my rewrite, but okay. So and this is messed up anyway. This should be new available. So it's either that or so it's max of this or the previous availability plus no, is that right? Huh. I want to write this, but I don't think that's right. Well, that's okay. So when his first job is done, so okay, so the first time, or for I is equal to 1, which we should any. Oh no, I. So if I is equal to 0, then it is equal to. So the start time. So this is the start time, the latest start time, and this is the latest finishing time based on that. This I'm messing up again. Maybe that's why I was so slow. Because it's this time. Oh, I see. This is I plus 1 plus skill sub I. I'm okay. I kind of, my indexing was wrong. That's why I was a little bit confused. So this is the previous ending time plus the time it would take to do it, right? And you could, of course, if you notice that, then you could take this out, I think, right? Hopefully this is right, otherwise I'm just being awkward. Maybe I should have gone over the other solution first. But yeah, this is the max gap, and then now now that we know the max gap, I think we can just go every number, just max gap, and then we just say availability is set to and then we just return the last element because that's the last time it stops, right? I didn't talk about the explanation, I didn't go over that much. Oh man, that is wrong. But availability should be that for index I, it means when the job I minus 1 is done. So that's basically what I want to do here. Clearly the max gap thing is a little bit wrong. Just not just awkward, but wrong. For the 88, I think that assumes there's no gap. Because here, then you have 16. Oh no. Yeah, this is 16, so that's 80, and then 88, right? So the max gap is 0, which is not true. Well, I mean, this is, yeah, I see, because this is never going to be true if this is the case. So, because you have this, something is, I'm, okay. Man, I'm struggling just like I'm in the virtual contest again. But I think the idea is something like this, but I am clearly a little bit off. Okay, well. Maybe this should just be equal to, okay, so this is the max gap. Right, okay. I think the right interpretation is that we look at this, right? Yeah. Is that actually I was a little bit wrong in that instead of drawing this green line, we should draw a line in which because basically this gap matters a little bit in that it has to be, or that's the earliest point, so 0 can start. Maybe my visualization is just wrong. My apologies for people watching this looking for a clean explanation. I think it is that this point has to be like the starting here, right? For example. So then as a result, because this is the starting point, right? So for example, the constraint for the green line for the first one would have to be here, right? And then the second one is actually, so actually I was kind of wrong on this visual. It has to be here, right? So then now when you move the line, you're trying to find out this gap instead, right? As the starting point. So that means that it's everything shift by 1. Okay, so we want to look at starting points instead. And then now you have to try to find the max gap that you have to add to kind of get to that. So, okay. I think I just, okay. Now looking at the code again, I think I do need to use the 0 is y, right? So then of 0 is equal to actually the first element of 1, right? Because that's when the first element ended. So this is when we can start. Does that fix it? Well, I think I took out something. Oh, well. That got worse somehow. How is that possible, actually? Like, we don't have this. Man, I changed something really weird, I think. How was that? Like, wasn't this 88? What else did I change? But we probably also need. What is going on? Whew. Max gap could be 0 now. I mean, this is fine. Sorry, friends, for explanations. How did I mess up? Like, wasn't it 80 something? How did I mess up even more than before? I'm just trying to undo stuff. No, then now this is too far. And now I'm doing. If max gap is 0, it should still just be 84, right? 24. What did I remember? Did I misremember something? How can this be so like nutty? Oh, I mean, this is a little awkward. That part is awkward though, but I think that's fine. Okay, but what did I change? I thought we had something like the 88 was actually good enough, but like if we don't have anything, it should be. I don't know why that should be 24. Okay, so there's this. I guess I know why it is 24, but didn't we had 88, which was the right answer? Well, without the gap. And this is like the worst explanation video that I've done, because I was trying to upsolve it, but Alright, let's debug it. At least maybe debugging will be useful for normal people. Let's see, so with this, okay. Is this right? After the first iteration is 60. So this is already not right. How do you get... Yeah, so you have this, and then now you have this, which is just really awkward. I mean, maybe I did it the other way during the contest, but I guess this is the same struggle I had. But this is 48. I guess the thing that I had was something like this, but then it's not very helpful, right? Does that give me the 88 I was looking for? I guess so, but that's because okay, so this is 64, which is fine. But this should be 60. I mean, I think the problem is that this gets the gap, right? So okay, so we have to get rid of this, but I think. But then okay, so it's 12, but the disconnect is from here minus this. I think that this part is wrong, because that's not the gap, right? The gap is this. It's not. It's this plus. So okay, fine. Okay, fine. I mean, yeah, I think that's. Yeah, okay. I think that's what I was a little bit confused about. Yeah, because the starting time plus the time it took from the previous one is going to be, yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah, so now that if you had the right graph and I don't know, you're not silly like me, that's how you would be able to hopefully get it. Let's submit so I don't, yeah. It takes 14 seconds, which is ridiculous, like I said, but it looks like maybe it's fine. Otherwise, I don't know, I'll be really sad. I mean, and with time, I mean, it shouldn't time out if the other one I had didn't time out. It still takes a long time though, which is ridiculous. But yeah, so that's basically the idea, right? I just kind of didn't, I mean, I think this graph, the way that I draw it with the thing, right, should make it clear. I think the thing is that when you are able to draw diagrams and have good visualization, it makes it a lot easier to kind of justify your code. And during the contest, I was a little bit lazy because I had it in my head and I kind of had to wonk it a little bit. And it's very easy to misunderstand this problem. But yeah, I think this one is just a lot easier to understand as a result. The reason why I was hesitating was I was like, maybe we could take in this part out, but then maybe it's fine, right? But because these things have two interpretation, right? You can think about this interpretation as this is the like this is the earliest time on the new line, right? And this is the time in which from the previous, like you have two constraints, right? You have to if you look at it in terms of here, you're gonna you just maybe try to think of it in terms of constraints. Actually, let me re-clean this up again. I don't know if anyone watches it to this far anyway. Let me know in comments if you're listening to me just saying now. So I don't know, in the future maybe I'll keep doing these. But yeah, so let's say you have two lines, right? And something like this. Then now you, in the next one, you have two constraints, right? So here it's a constraint, right? Here is a constraint. Here's a constraint, if you want to think of it that way, to the previous point, right? And then the other constraint is that if you start, well, it depends on the past one, right? So basically, if and that's how the gap gets formed, right? Which is that okay, we start here, then and the next point on the line, let's say let's say it's exactly the same as the red line, right? And slope, we keep it exactly the same. The slope is exactly the same, right? So let's say you have this, then now the constraint is that it has to be either here or here. So then of course you go up, right? And then now, and as a result, and then you find this gap, and this gap means that every point will go up by that much, right? Yeah, and there are a couple of ways you can think about it, but that's basically the idea. And then now if you copy this red line here, let's say you'll be here, right? And then you'll be here, and then now you go, okay, well, what is the gap here, right? Or you can also, there depends where you can, as long as you're consistent with the math, you're fine too. Like if you can also go here and go, okay, well, this is way over here, so we don't have to care about the gap, right? And then maybe another flatter one. I guess it also doesn't matter, but let's say if you have a constraint that goes here and you go here, then now you have to look at that gap again, and then in this case it's just this one of the max one. But yeah, my advice is still draw it out. This is going to be m times s in my case, for s for mana. That's what I have with this one. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and yeah, you could watch me try to solve this during the contest now. Is it 312? All right. Don't think I did anything too silly. Okay. Probably could have been faster if I pre-run code like some people do, but it's fine. Q3. Find the minimum amount of time to brew potions. Skill and mana and some each potion has a mana or the wizard and must pass through order to brew properly. The time must pass. Each wizard begins working on potion exactly when it arrives. What does that mean? Okay. Return the minimum time. Instead, get to do it immediately. Okay. I see. So you have to kind of start. So the start time is the tricky part, because there can be overlap, but you have to be careful, right? I guess that's the thing that they want you to care about. And the mana has to be done in order. Okay, the potions have to be done in order. So you have 5. The first one is going to take Well, the skill is going to be the skill is just skill times manner. So that what does that mean? It's just binary search every potion and then greedy, right? I guess so. Okay, fine. Is that fast enough? 5,000 skill. The time. What is the time? Well, I guess it doesn't matter. It's only 20 for each one. That's like 5,000 square. 5,000 square times log. No, that's too slow, isn't it? I did too naively. Do I have to store something? Okay, so why is this? Okay, what is the criteria that I'm thinking about? Maybe I'm... Exactly. Okay, so this... Okay, I think the thing is that this explanation is a little bit wonky in the sense that it tells you when it ends, but not start. Well, I guess the start is the previous one, so I think that, so that means that actual thing that I care about is the start time, right? And then 0, and then we just take the. I guess it's still the all-time C is 5,000 squares, still a little bit sketch, but I hope that makes sense. But it's just greedy then, right? You take you loop and then you just do it. So I don't need to binary search, because then now wizard 3, the earliest time is 60, earliest time is 40, and so forth, right? It's just maths, but it's tricky, right? So here, working backwards, you would say 61. And then it's just a delta, right? So that means that the one before that. $45. This is 5, doesn't change. Wizard 1 is going to be a little bit awkward. I'm kind of bad at this. It's 5, and 45 is the 45 is the earliest that it can start. Earliest this thing start is 60. So what does that mean? So what that means is that given a skill, are we always limited by that? No, I don't. I guess not, because this is some awkward thing going on. What is the limiting function? Huh. I mean, it's still gonna be just like 2 linear scans. Binary search would be so much easier, but I think this is too slow even for this one. So the delta here is 4. I mean, it's some sort of propagation thing, but it's very awkward. How do I? Okay, so the first one is at 0. Right? Here was the earliest that it can start. So I have to figure out the delta, which is the start time of the first one, because everything else follows. Okay, maybe I guess that's really it, but it's still very awkward to do. Okay, fine. Well, at least I'm not good at it. I don't know. Math is always tough. Okay, so we. right? And then now, so we went for the first one. So the first person available is equal to the last person available plus skill times manner, so skill sub I, nope, skill sub no, this is S, that's why I'm weird. Okay, I times manner sub 0, we're just setting up the first one. Something like that, right? So okay, so now we set up this thing, and then now the next person, when can we start? We have to find out the delta, right? So you don't even need T really, but so the start is going to be 0, so delta, right? I think that it's all math and I'm just really bad at it, but the biggest difference, I mean, but manner is fixed, so this is going to be 4. What is the relationship I'm missing? This is 4. Okay, so that means that earliest is 60, so 64. Here, we have to fill backwards maybe. Filling it backwards, this is either 4 from the previous one or 4 from the top one. Okay. And then we can, from the start time, we probably can deduce it. If the start time is negative, then we can get it. Okay, I guess that's fine. Okay, yeah. I don't know. We use so much memory that is kind of scary actually. But yeah, I guess we'll see. So then I is equal to, so min of this, no, max, yeah. Max of this plus, so the previous thing, the previous time is available plus skill sub I times manner sub J, or, well, I guess this is just max of these two because the thing doesn't change, right? So of, well, okay, so it's max of that, but that's not right per se. Okay, so because we're doing it backwards, then okay. S minus 1 is equal to, oh, okay, plus this, where the I is S minus 1, okay. Now we're able to do this, where we have this, and also I plus 1, plus skill sub I times manner sub J, okay. And then now delta is going to be equal to the first time available. Is this right? No, this isn't right, is it? No. This is not right, because here this makes sense because we can just start whenever. But this has to be contiguous. So you can't just take the max of that. So that means that what happens? Okay, it's just an if statement with delta, I think. Okay, so you have, this one is fine, and then working backwards, it's not max, it's an if statement. So if plus skill sub, so this is not available. Okay, so earliest is equal to this thing. That's the earliest that we can do it. So if this plus this thing, if this is earlier than that, then delta is going to be equal, we add that to the difference, right? Okay. Okay, and then that's it. In theory, we actually don't even need this. We just update this. Maybe this is premature optimization though. Okay, fine. But then now we need to update all the deltas. So yeah, we need to update all the deltas or all the things. Oops. And then we just set and then we just return the last one used, I think. Apparently maybe not. Even this one as well, which is actually a little bit sad, but that's okay. We have the technology to debug. Okay, so this is what we expect. Delta is way wrong. Okay. Delta is 35. Why? So this is 64. Did I mess something up? Oh, I don't update. Sub I is equal to oh, we just equal to, and this is a subtract, right? Well, this is the earliest that it can end, and this is previous earliest, so that's actually wrong. Okay. Oh, then just p earliest because we already calculated out the delta. Okay, still wrong in all the cases, but maybe we're getting closer. I don't know. 67, is that right? 64 is right. Oh, the delta is 0 is definitely wrong. 62 is definitely wrong. Why is that? This is segment 1. This is a 4. Oh, this is my off by 1 on this one, which is fine. This is a +1 here. Still wrong. Still wrong here as well. 53. Why is 53? Oh no, that's why on the first column. Though delta being 0 is a little bit awkward, but maybe not. This one, 47, is weird. Why is that? Why does it think it is 47? Okay. Math problems. Okay. I mean, this is... No, that's too high. Why does it think it's 47? So it's 64 is thinks the next one is going to be... Okay, so the next one is 4, so it thinks it's 16. So the earliest that it can do is 80. Right? Okay, if it goes 80, but it can because next one has to be at least 86. 2 to 4 times 2? No, that doesn't make sense. Okay, maybe we'll print out the one without. What if we don't do anything? What does that look like? Debugging is the worst. Okay, so it looks like this. 16 sounds right, but 16 over, so it has to be plus 16, so delta changes. Okay, that's fair. Oh, we have to calculate the delta with respect to the new delta, so we're double counting. So it's going to be, how do I adjust? It's going to be this plus delta, but we'll have to adjust for the future as well. Okay, this is going to be too slow, but I just want to test it first. So would that fix it? No, that still doesn't fix it. Well, this is just really awkward. No, then you don't need the delta anymore, so delta could be 0, I think. Because it's not cumulative. Maybe? That's not right then. Okay. I'm really bad at this. It's one of those problems that maybe I should be debating skipping, and a lot of people got Q4, so, but why am I so bad at this? Is it math? Am I doing something like binary search would be easy, but it's just too slow, right? Am I thinking it wrong? Am I wrong in the, no, the 5,000 manner, so that's, okay. So we get the suffix, then why doesn't this work again? Once we get the suffix, so we get 16, we go, okay, 16, well, this has to be 16 before that, right? So why? So now it's, is it not 16? Am I doing math wrong? 4, 16, right? So okay, so it thinks it's 16. This one's fine. So minus 16. This is 66. 66 is too small because we need 4 times 2. So this is 68. So the delta is 2. Why is the delta not 2? Am I doing math wrong? 16, 64, 60, oh, plus 4. Whoops, no, not 2, 4. Okay, so then it goes to 72 to 80. Okay, that's fine for now. Right, and then now 72, what's the previous? Previous is going to be, it thinks it's 14 for some reason. Did I do my loop wrong? No. Okay, let's see. So 72 has to be 64, but as 20, right? So the delta, okay, so 64, the delta, it has to be 20, so 78 minus 64 is 14, which is where we get this, right? So that means that we have to add everything by 14. Why do I not add everything by 4? Oh, no. Oh, I'm just dumb. Huh. Even in my fake thing, I was dumb. Okay. Yep, now I get the right answer. Okay. Wow, what a bad typo. And that was supposed to be my test if it works typo. So that's pretty bad. Can't submit this. We need another array. Yeah, we need a delta array to accumulate it afterwards. Okay, fine. Probably could do this a little bit cleaner, but I don't know. I don't even know if this is fast enough, which is kind of the sad part. this, right? I guess you don't need it, but then you need to accumulate it for the n. And I guess the intermediate stuff don't matter because everything is consistent. So all you really need is, okay, fine. So we actually don't need this array. What we need, just need a delta, right? This is maybe a current delta. We don't need this. We don't need this. All we need to do is actually just fix the last element. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. This is actually a very annoying problem. But okay, fine. So then we add this here because we need it immediately. But then here, okay. So then actually what we want then is I plus 1 so that we add the next element. But we also add it here. So then now here we can do this, except for that I plus 1 may be a little bit out of bounds. So we need to do something funky like this. And here now maybe we are good. Or maybe not. Oh. And Larry is sad again. Is it cumulative? I had it, and then now I don't know how to fix the thingy. Oh, that's why actually, because this is supposed to be cumulative, but I didn't do it cumulatively. Okay, maybe that's still salvageable. What I just need then is d0 0. Okay. Is this even fast enough? I don't know. I took long enough, but let's see. Go to, what is it? 5,000. We'll just try a big number really quick. Okay, is that fast enough? But I don't know how else to do it, honestly. 5,000 square is too slow. Am I 5,000 square? Kind of. This is a really crappy Leetcode problem again, kind of thing. I don't know, because I mean, can I do better? Is that what it's asking? I feel like I want to YOLO submit this, but maybe this is too slow. Maybe 5,000 square is too. If 5,000 square is too slow, why don't you just make it 10,000? I don't get it. Leetcode strikes again with, I don't know, like why 5,000? 5,000 is just like a bait for anything. Okay, can I go be a little bit? Oh, that got. But that's what I mean. It shouldn't need to be 5,000. It gets accepted. It's just silly. Like who are you trying? Like, I don't know. Just mind games. Unnecessary mind games is why I stopped doing these things live. And just try to see the. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join me on Discord. Let me know what you think about this contest, these forums, everything in between. Stay good, stay healthy, to good mental health. I'll see y'all later and take care. Bye-bye.